Hey, it's Pastor Joe, lead pastor at Markham Woods Presbyterian Church. Trying to send you out a little Tuesday morning pick-me-up devotional. So let me dig right into this, and then I have a really special announcement I want to get to. I know with the COVID-19 just kind of taking over the world, there have been many ways that people and organizations have responded. You see this in the medical industry. You see this in the food suppliers, the truckers, just people themselves and what they can do to reach out. And the church responds too. The church is part of the response. I hope that we would be that. That's part of what I want to talk about today. So as we've been doing this work, the church has tried as best we can to meet need also. One of the ways we've done that is some of you have been involved in our masks. We've been making masks and we've been collecting food, collecting toilet paper. And so, yes, if you need TP, give us a call. We have a collection here for distribution. If people have a need, we want to be able to meet the need. So in the midst of all that, the church has been trying to do some other things, not only just kind of ramping up our virtual worship and everything it takes to put that on and create that virtual experience for all of you folks to watch. We've also stepped up our feeding program, the hot meals that we do. And I think in the past 4 weeks, we've served probably well over 1,000 hot cooked meals. And you know how that's worked. We ask you to take a meal and to take one to give, right? You're the conduit. We used you as a way of reaching even more people, networking in the community for people that have a true need and need the food. But we also then took large portions of those hot meals to some of the homeless areas near the church where we know the feeding programs, because of the guidelines, the pandemic guidelines, those feeding programs have been shut down, which has left those folks kind of, in need. They count on a lot of those meals. So we were able to step up and step into that response. So I was doing a podcast the other day with one of my buddies, Leon. He's a pastor. He used to be a pastor in this presbytery. Now he's out in Austin, Texas, at Shepherd of the Hills Church. But we're doing this podcast as talking about how the church has responded and been shaped somewhat by what's going on with coronavirus. And often we get asked as pastors, how are you doing? How are you doing in this? I don't know. How are you doing? We're kind of checking on each other, which is kind of an interesting question for me. It's I don't like answering that kind of question of how I'm doing. Not because I'm not aware of how I'm doing, but more of this is ministry, right? This is what you called in a pastor. It's what you would hope would happen. That somebody would step in and get involved and work through the issues. So my response to how you're doing, if I'm going to be really, really honest with you, and I hope I always am, when you ask me how I'm doing, the answer. This is going to sound so crazy. The answer is, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And you may go, what's he talking about? What's going on? Is it, too much free time, or what's happening with Pastor Joe? I think as I dug into this topic of the church and the church's response and how we're responding through the virtual worship and what that's going to mean in the long run for the church. As I dug into that and began talking with my buddy Leon, it just kind of came out of me that I am doing great, and that forced me to look into why. Why am I doing great? And as we're talking, I said I feel strangely energized by all of this, not by the hardship of it all, and not by the illness, and not by the death. I'm energized by having purpose. It's like this coronavirus has hit me in kind of my sweet spot, which is I want to count, right? You want to count. I want to have a purpose. And in the church, sometimes we're kind of hidden from that as clergy, how are we seeing the results of our activities? What are we, you can preach a great sermon, but you don't always see what does that mean? How has that really affected somebody? And when it gets down to this grassroots of cranking up and meeting real needs, man, that's my sweet spot. I'm about action, love in action. It's one thing to talk about, but gosh, I get excited about meeting needs. That's really why I got in ministry in the first place. So the fact that we're called on to step up and meet need, to me, is like, wow, great, let's go. Roll up your sleeves kind of thing, because it feels like, wow, we're being Jesus, not just through words, but we are actually feeding people and meeting their needs. So I think the church is sort of hardwired to do that. That's right. We're hardwired in the whole design of who we are as a church and as of people, followers of Christ. We're hardwired to meet needs. And so I want to share with you today a little bit out of Ephesians, just kind of give some background of where I'm coming from when I say we're hardwired to meet needs. This is Ephesians chapter 1. Yep, donning the glasses today. Ephesians chapter 1, I'm going to read 7 through, looks like 12. So listen to these words as Paul's talking to this church. He says, "In Christ we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses according to the riches of his grace, which he lavished upon us. For he has made known to us in all wisdom and insight the mystery," here it is, "the mystery of his will according to his purpose, which he set forth in Christ as a plan for the fullness of time, to unite all things in him, things in heaven and things on the earth. In him," this is in Christ, "in him, according to the purpose of him who accomplishes all things according to the counsel of his will, we who first hoped in Christ have been destined," okay, underline, exclamation point, "destined and appointed," another one, underline, "destined and appointed to live for the praise of his glory." Destined, given that purpose, we have been hardwired to carry on the ministry of the church in real tangible ways. Destined, appointed. This is who we are. And it made me think about a little clip I want to show you in a minute, a little clip from the Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters 2, where the little nerdy character, he's the Ghostbuster wannabe. He always wanted to be a Ghostbuster. And finally he gets his chance and he puts on all the stuff, like all the gear, all the tech. And it finally comes to him. He kind of realizes his destiny. He realizes his purpose. And so here's what he says. Give a look and a listen.
"I was born to wear this stuff.
Let me play it again.
I was born to wear this stuff."
So there it is. He was born to wear the gear, right? Born to wear this stuff. And that's really what I think Paul's kind of saying to the Ephesians, and it's my message for us today. We were born to wear this stuff. The church was born to meet needs, to be need responsive. And maybe that's why I feel energized, because as part of ministry, as a disciple of Jesus Christ, as a pastor, I kind of do feel like I was born to wear this stuff. And it's no different for you. We are the church. The church was born, hardwired to wear this need responsive stuff, to live for the glory and praise of Christ. This is our best moment, right? These are our finest moments, how we can respond to needs. So don't think that, I'm hunkered down in my home. What can I do? You're doing much of it already. Just remember, this is who we are. It should be no surprise if we're feeling good and doing ministry in the midst of hardship. That the church has been doing that from day one. So let's not quit. Let's let's live into being born to wear the stuff of meeting needs. So there's a little little word for you today. So I also want to share with you, because we are continue to be need responsive as a church, part of our mission statement, we're going to do another feeding this Friday, between 5 and 6 o'clock. Same drill, right? You're going to drive through, you're going to be handed a meal for you, but we want you to take one to give to somebody in need. There it is. We were born to wear this stuff and to carry love out in action and give to folks. So come through this Friday, between 5 and 6 o'clock at the church. Drive through. Don't have to get out of your car. We'll hand you the meals, a meal for you and a meal to give away. If you want to give away too, that's great. We're also going to give you the communion cups as we will celebrate virtually. This Sunday, we'll celebrate communion. The pandemic is not going to stop us from doing that. So there's multiple purposes here. Grab a meal, grab one to give, grab a communion cup to give. This is how we expand and meet need in the midst of something that's kind of tough. But again, I'm just going to say to you guys, you're born to wear this stuff. So put it on, travel out, meet need safely, meet need, be the church. And we'll see you virtually for worship on Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, our modern worship, 11 o'clock, our classic worship. At those worship services, we will walk through communion, and you'll be able to take part in that in your own home. So there you go, little word for the day. Again, blessings. I think the time is coming soon. Things are just starting to crack open. I look forward to having you be here in person, but I don't want us to stop responding, right? Blessings.